All right, so let's talk in this video about building trust and the synergy that is involved in this. So if you don't know me, this is me, Ernie Svensson, background, speaker, author, and so forth. But let's just dive right in and focus again on a realistic type of marketing, which we talked about in the last video, and the importance of strategies versus tactics. Strategies are things that you use and develop first, and then the tactics are usually changing. So we want to focus on strategies, and we want to focus on the invisible gorilla strategy, which is focusing on building trust. Trust is vital, but often it's something we don't pay attention to, and so it's invisible to us. But we need to focus on building trust because that's how we're going to get more clients, more good clients, and we're going to get these clients in a steady stream, which is good for our cash flow. So in a complex world, it may seem like building trust is hard, and it is hard, but it probably seems harder than it actually is because we focus on the complexity. So what we want to do is break things down and keep it simple. We talked last time about the Arda Framework, which is first you need to get people's attention, then you need to engage with them and establish rapport, and then you need to build up trust, and then ultimately, if you do that, people will hire you or convert into clients. We talked about synergies and how these are important. And there are a lot of synergies that go into establishing or influencing your reputation. And your reputation is a big component for whether people will know you, like you, trust you as a lawyer. So there's things like what other people say about you. There's things about how you dress. There's things about where your office is located, what your website looks like, what the message looks like, what your short message on your business card says. All of these things are synergies that over time and in many different places are all interconnected, and they help establish and influence your reputation. So you need to pay attention to this holistic thing and not just isolated components. And so there's, the interconnected web. We talked about that last time. But the key synergies, if we want to focus in on just a few that are super important, are rapport, like establishing rapport with prospective clients, whether they are cold leads or warm leads or hot leads. Like you need to establish rapport. And one part of this component is people understanding that you actually care about helping people. You also need to build up trust. And a big component here is how much can I count on you? Can I count on you to know what you're talking about? There's a whole bunch of things that go into trust. And then, of course, there's the attention getting component because some people will not know about you or will not realize that you do the work that they need you to do. And so they're figuring out, are you relevant to helping me solve my problem? If so, I'm going to pay attention. Now, the order of this is first you get people's attention, then you establish rapport and engage with them, and then you get to a point where they trust you enough to hire you. So that's the progression. And when it comes to rapport building, as we said, one component is related to how much you care. Do you care about helping people more than anything else, or do you care about anything besides just making money? Because people will assume that most lawyers will take either side. We're essentially mercenaries when it comes to rhetoric, and so they don't know for sure that we care about helping people. So if you do care about helping people, then you need to establish that, and you do that through rapport. Are you approachable? People may think, well, you know your stuff, but I don't really feel like I could talk to you. You don't seem like somebody I'd really want to engage with. So you have to build rapport to establish for people that you are approachable and that you're sincere and that you're down to earth and you're not just arrogant and aloof, which is, again, what they're going to assume in many cases that you are because you're a lawyer. So people have these associations. And then also, do they feel comfortable talking to you? Because if they feel like you care, they feel like you're approachable and sincere and down to earth, and they feel like they can talk to you, they're going to have a really strong affinity for you. That's all part of rapport and also, to some extent, part of trust because those two meld together. But the first question with trust building is, do you know how to solve my problem? So you're relevant, you do this kind of law, but how well do you solve these problems? Are you good at it? Did you just start doing this yesterday? How do I know that you're going to be good for me when it comes to hiring you as a lawyer? And also, can you put me at ease? Because that's part of trust building. Like if you make me feel like you can solve my problem and I have confidence, that's going to put me at ease. If I feel like you're going to communicate with me, that's going to put me at ease. Do you explain things so that I understand them? That's also part of, putting me at ease and helping me feel like I can work with you. And then also, this is really a big one that lawyers tend not to pay attention to is what do other clients say about your work? Like, did they like working with you? Did they feel like you put them at ease? Did they feel like you communicated with them? Did they feel like your staff was responsive? I mean, that's really important proof, if you have it, to offer up so that people can see, oh, okay, you've helped other people and they've said good things about you, so that's good, right? So those are the key components. Now, when it comes to the resources and breaking this down in terms of, well, what do you need to establish rapport and trust and also get attention? Well, you need a concise message that will let people know that you're relevant to solving their problem, because we just talked about how that's a part of attention getting. And it has to be short because they're just first figuring out, like, are you somebody that's relevant? So you need a concise attention message that should be 120 characters, or maybe 160 at most. So if you can't say how you're relevant to people that you would want as clients in 120 characters, you'll lose their interest, you'll not maintain their attention, and you won't be effective. And then you need to start building rapport, and this is something you can do over many discussions with people, but just to make it simple and doable and actionable, you need to break your message down into 3 to 4 paragraphs at most, where you kind of answer those questions we talked about earlier and let people know, okay, you're down to earth, you're somebody that I feel like cares about people. So you need a short rapport message. And then you need an online location that you control where you can post this attention-getting message and this short rapport message. And that's basically a website. You can post those first 2 things on LinkedIn. You can post them on Yelp and other places, but you don't control those places. So you need an online location that you control so that you know it will always be up and you can control what goes in there and it looks like what you want it to look like. So that's a website. It doesn't need to be expensive. We can talk about what that is, but a simple website you could throw up for $6 a month and it would be a place to put your messages. And then you need to get testimonials from past clients so that you can help people understand that you do care, that you do explain things well and all that kind of stuff. And then lastly, you need to engage with people, and email is the easiest way to do this. You could meet with people regularly, you could phone them up, and those are all good things to do, but email is the easiest, the lowest cost, and if you do it right, people will keep paying attention to your emails. And this is vital for referrals as well, which, as we've talked about in the last video, is the easiest kind of marketing to do. So these resources are things that you should work on collecting first. These are the synergies that are going to matter the most. Having a good short message that's 120 characters, having a short message of 3 to 4 paragraphs, having a place where you can post this that you control, testimonials from clients that you can also publish on your website, and lastly, understanding how to email people regularly. And I have a short blog post called Free Online Billboards, which I will put a link to below this video, and you can check that out. That will show you how to craft the 120 character message, and we'll talk to you about where you can post that message. Once you create it, on LinkedIn would be one obvious place. And the rest of it is something that we can talk about in a workshop or something like that, because this gets into people not knowing how to collect the testimonials, having questions about the rapport message and how to get the website up and how to do email and stuff like that. And that's really something that I need to discuss more in a workshop type setting. So I will be doing a workshop about that. And if you're interested, I'll put a link below for that as well. All right, that's it.